Hey guys, it's Jim Bounds. Well, you know where I'm at. This is Patreon. This is Motorhome Rab Ranch. You came here. I didn't come to you, so thank you. Thanks for coming. And it's taken me a while to get a set out here. This is on the porch in the back. Got the new barn, my compressor over there. From your generosity, we have some lights and things like that. So this is a remote set that we can set up at different places. Right? And as I kept saying, we're going to talk about switches. Okay, everybody that has an electro level 2 knows what this is. These are your switches. Raise, lower, travel. The switch is a Pollock, P-O-L-L-O-C-K brand switch. It's a very, very good switch. Now, this switch was also used with your boost switch on the dash. Now, folks that have a 73, 74, or most of the Transmos did not have a spring. And if you left it on, it'd kill all your batteries. Well, guess what? You can take a retractable pin spring and stick back in here, and it'll be retractable on you guys that have the young ones. Okay? So the Pollock switches, though, were unique in that they were rebuildable, right? You had them spring-loaded. You had them on, off, center, off. You had them on, off. And different configurations. And the way they did that was inside, they have these little metal plates, right? Now, what we're going to do here in a second, I'm going to have you come on in, and look over my shoulder. We're going to rebuild one of these Pollock switches, okay? So, first thing you want to do when you're doing this Pollock switch, yeah, come on in. There we go. Good. First thing you want to do on your switch, this is a dash switch because there's 2 screws that hold it. To take this out, you take the 2 screws out and you pull it out. And then you'll unplug it from the connector. I know this is the boost switch, 1, because it's spring-loaded, but 2, because the connector has a bunch of orange wires coming out of the connector. Now, the switch connector next to it is your fuel selector. I know that because this connector has the pink with black, which is usually your power coming in. Right? Those 2 switches are different. One's spring-loaded, one's on-off, but they're both Pollock switches. Right? So we're going to go in this switch. You don't need a lot of tools, just a few things. And a lot of these things may not be new to you. But all right, you look at your switch. Yeah, you'll see on the side there are 4 little prongs. I call them prong doodles. Right here. All right. So first thing we want to do, this switch has not been opened before, so we'll see what we've got in there. All right. So we're going to pry that little prong doodle out like that. Pry it out just enough to, and hold it together at the same time. See how you're holding it. All right. Pry this one out. Don't stick yourself with the thing because it's pretty darn sharp. You know what I mean? Get that one out. And now we'll get this one out. Pull all 4, because what that's doing is holding the Bakelite case to the switch. Now, Pollock still makes switches. There's no metal on them. They're all plastic. The only thing that's metal would be the contact. All right, so we got it like this. Now, when you pull it apart, be careful and see how it's together, because the switch, different switches have different configurations. So we pull it open. First thing that happens is the insulation falls out that they had in there. And then there's the contactors. And then right here, these are the pressure pins. And there's a little spring in there. See it? Little spring. Don't lose those, won't work. This gray stuff, this is what's left of the grease. When we get finished, we're going to put dielectric grease in there. All right? So let's look down in here. First thing you see, what's left of the dielectric grease. And it's a big black blob down there in the bottom. Not a good thing. You try to get all that stuff out of there. One of the things you can use, if you're in electronics, you know about this stuff. Contact circuit board cleaner, okay? Back in the old days, they used to have them in little 6-ounce cans, you know, and you had to buy a whole case of them. When I found that Worth has them in, what, 13.76-ounce cans. Awesome. Right? So what do? You douse it. You douse it really good. Now the stuff will clean out. It won't kill you. You don't want to go swimming in it. Now when you look down in there, you see the points. You see them in there? And you see 2 of them are tan. One of them's got a big black mark on it, and one of them looks pretty nasty. All right, the 2 tan ones, those have never been used. That's buildup of corrosion over 50 years. All right, so we need to get that off. And then also this black, all right, that's pitting. That's where it's arced and it's caused a film on there. So we're going to need to get that stuff off too. Okay. This is the one we pulled out. Now we look down here at these pieces here. So that black stuff, that's the grease that used to be there. You get that out of the way. Now see, here's the points. You see how that one's worn? You see that? Right? Now, in the past, I used to use steel wool, different things like that to clean that. But let me show you what I found recently that really works. And I got to hand this to my wife. This is called a magic eraser. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. I don't know what this stuff is, but watch this. You see how it's got rose corrosion? Watch this. Corrosion gone. The original side that has never been arced and it just has all that fungus on there. Gone. Magic eraser. Booyah. Great stuff. So here, real quick, let me clean this other switch here. This other contact. Oh, this is the one. See how that thing's just black. Just black. Just covered. You see it? Watch this. This could be a Mr. Clean commercial. Look at that. I don't know what that stuff is, but by golly, it sure works. I'm going to clean this other side. Boom. How about that? All right. Now, this insulation was in there. Watch this. Gone. Dead. Doesn't work anymore. And we're not going to worry about it. Nope. What we're going to do is, okay, we've cleaned this out. Now it's dried out. Now, there's a lot of ways to try to clean this points. What I do, some people may get upset. This is a stainless steel Olfa razor knife, break-off razor knife. This is the finest balance tool that I've ever had. If you're a window tinter, you know where your Olfa knife is before you go to bed each night. OLFA. This is the Olfa Silver. You should get one. Get a box of blades. Very nice. So what I use this for is I go in there and scratch off all that corrosion off the points because they're way back up in there. I would love to get in there with something else maybe, but the reality is the points are hard to get to. And what we want to do is to get all that corrosion, all that years of garbage off of it, off all 4. Well, the other 2, they don't matter because they're not going to do anything. But I mean, what the heck? Let's get them clean. We already cleaned the other side with the magic eraser, so let's do this side too. All right. So you just scratch it, and what I'm doing, quite seriously, is scratching off all the dirt, corrosion, all the spark stuff. Okay, so take a look. See how they're shiny? Now, you see this part in the middle? This little square piece? Well, that's the pivot that the rocker rides on, and that's one of the contactors. So you want to clean the top of that as well. Right there. You see that? That makes sense? All right, now, Permatex. I love that company. If I had stock, I'd buy stock in whoever Permatex makes Permatex. This is dielectric grease. You know, when you put your distributor module in, the dielectric grease helps transfer the heat and helps to knock down sparks, things like that. So what we want to do here is we want to put a little bit of grease, a little bit of dielectric grease on these points. And then we're going to put them in place. Hang on, I'll show them to you when I get them in place. There's one. There's two. Okay, there. Okay, you can see how it's riding on little metal foil pieces are riding right there on that pivot. All right. Now, have a little bit of grease. You got this. Remember this. You didn't lose the springs, right? Get all this garbage off of here. And dab those top of those things with a little bit of that grease. Now, you remembered how it went back together, right? Oh, I know you do. Just like that. Very carefully take the two sides and just bring them together, hold them together, and then bring your little prong doodles back in. You can push them down. Come on. There you go. There you go. There. All right. If I had my meter with me, we could check it. You check continuity on the switches. At the same time, you can see all these terminals that the connector went into, the connector went into. You want to clean these up too. Shoot them with the tuner cleaner. Scratch them up a little bit. If you do have some steel wool, something like that, that'll help. Scratch them up. Get all that corrosion and all that surface rust off of them. This particular switch is a double pole, double throw, because in this position it's here, or connected here. In this position, it's connected here. So it's a double pole, double throw. All right. So that has 5 connectors. That means that it will make 3 different connections. All right. So we got it all cleaned up. Check it with the meter. See, there's one missing there. Right in there. There it is. Right now, you've got these switches. Both of the switches on your dash of this Pollock switch. Your electrical level guys, your electrical level switches are Pollocks. And on GM floor plan units from 75 to 78, The switches at the door for your galley and floor lights and all that stuff, those are also Pollock switches. The one that has the light on it for the water pump, Pollock switch. Light always goes out. Well, you know, you can go down to some place and put a little LED light in there with a resistor in it, and you can fix that switch. You can rebuild it. All right. So, oh, one other switch. Up at the driver passenger seat, you've got a switch that turns on and off the light. Okay. Well, it has little clips on the side. It comes apart the same way that the Pollock switch. It may or may not be a Pollock switch. I don't really know what brand it is, but it's a single a pole double throw. One position connects here, the other position connects there, center is off. The pins on the side, you take it apart, you polish the points up, you put a little light electric grease. Now what we used to do at Co-op and Clasco, this switch, what it would do is you could turn the dash light switch and it would make the overhead light switch come on in that position. Or if you just wanted to turn the lights on, you'd just turn it in that position. And here it would be off. Well, we didn't use that anymore because we used bullet lights. So this turned into a speaker switch. I mean, if you want to listen to NPR and you know, your wife's over in the seat on that side, and you got that little squeaky speaker right there, you could turn it on and just listen to NPR, right? Well, you already got a switch there. And what's amazing about this switch, you see how it's really cruddy and corroded looking, right? Watch this. Again, magic eraser. Look at that. Woohoo! It just makes it so bright and shiny. Looks like a brand new switch. So, yeah, go down and get you a box of magic erasers. Don't steal the one from your wife because she uses these things too. These are really great little devices. I'm sure they're going to make one cheaper pretty soon, but right now, you know, get the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. All right. So the other switches that are in your coach may or may not be rebuildable. But the good news is most of those switches, you can replace them with off-shelf switches and things like that. Great. Well, look, I hope this was helpful. If it was, hit like. Now, you understand, on YouTube, when you hit like, that's a click. And the whole reason that there's YouTube videos is to get a click. So you're helping me and you're helping Motorhome Rehab Ranch by hitting like on YouTube. Now, when you hit like on Patreon, that's cool too. That tells me how many of you ranch hands saw the video. So please hit like there. But as soon as you watch a video and you hit like, go over to YouTube. I know it's a pain, but YouTube is supporting us too. Okay? So go over to YouTube and hit their like. Now, comments over on Patreon. There's just a few comments. I get an unbelievable amount of comments on emails, texts, and things like that. And that's great. I don't want folks that look at Patreon think that I only got 1 or 2 comments, because I get a dozen or more comments every day. So if you would like to make a comment, I would love it to let the folks that are watching the Patreon site see some of the interaction we're having, or how much fun that we're having together. So comment on the Patreon site, like on the Patreon site, and please like and subscribe and share and all that stuff on YouTube. All of that helps us. All right? Well, look, thanks for the time. I hope this was helpful. Yank out all your switches, clean them up, like, all that kind of stuff. And give me some more comments on new ideas, videos, and things like that. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.